Well, at Jersey Electricity, we want to inspire a zero-carbon future and enable the community to make a real difference. And what better place to do that than here at Mourier Valley, which is one of the island's largest ever planting projects.
We've got 6,000 trees to plant over a 3-year period. We've literally just started today. Hopefully we'll get 500 trees planted. And the objective really is to take this valley, Mourier Valley, and transform it back to how it would have been maybe 100 or 200 years ago.
Well, we've highlighted this location in Jersey because they're bracken-covered slopes, and the bracken tends to really swamp and smother certain areas of the north coast. So they're not particularly rich in biodiversity, these areas. So by planting these areas up, we're increasing the biodiversity, we're increasing habitat for all sorts of wildlife.
We've got quite low woodland cover compared to Europe and the British Isles. So we've got about 7%, whereas the British Isles has 14% and Europe 24%. And by planting trees, we're able to increase our wildlife because it's incredibly valuable for biodiversity, and also the added bonus of carbon sequestration.
We've been looking at the tree species and what animals are around. We've already planted lots of hedges, and we're also planting things like hazel, mountain ash or rowan, which produce a fruit which will be good for migrating birds. Also, trees obviously will support things like squirrels, which are already in the area.
We tried to plant them almost in clusters. It kind of creates a similar situation to what would happen in a natural woodland. If you think of a large oak tree, it will drop its acorns in the surrounding area, and it will create lots of little oak trees, and you almost create a little glade. So we've tried to do that similarly here. So we've got pockets of oak, pockets of cherry, pockets of hazel, things like that.
I think it's really exciting because there's a number of landowners here, including Jersey Water. Jersey Electricity are looking to help the community reach its carbon neutrality target. So there's a real level of enthusiasm and excitement about this project, and that's quite rare. You'll see there's lots of happy faces because people feel they're helping to make a difference, and that's really important.
We've been planting silver birch, exclusively silver birch.
Exclusively. We chose the silver birch as this is a pretty tree. Normally we'd be sat behind a desk on a normal day. It'd be a nice thing to come back to over the years and bring our children to and just have a bit of pride. Being a local, have a bit of pride about putting something back.
It's been great seeing people actually come up here and being really actively involved. Along with the planting, it needs an element of maintenance as well, so we're asking to come back and help us. And the idea of that is that people are invested in the project, and they're as invested as we are and want to see that come to fruition.
Really important to us to work as a consortium, if you like, of partners. So we've got a very close relationship with Jersey Water, with National Trust and Jersey Trees for Life. So it's the 4 organisations coming together, working alongside each other. You see how people are working alongside each other. I think that really is a positive sign that we're all willing to work to do what we can to restore this fantastic valley to where it was previously.
Trees are life. That's what Trees for Life stands for. And if we want to increase and maintain our biodiversity, then we have to maintain our trees. And projects like these do demonstrate the importance of associations such as ours and the National Trust, who are devoted to our environment and our biodiversity and our trees.
One of the things with climate change, I think individually it can feel quite overwhelming that you can't really make any meaningful impact. But I think what we found here that involving the community actually gets them engaged in talking about this as well. And actually, we hear conversations about how other things that people are changing their lifestyle, and perhaps that's the bigger issue really.
Today has been a historic day. We planted our last tree of close to 4,500 trees over the last 3 years in this lovely valley. I'm really delighted with what's been achieved here. I mean, it's the biggest tree planting exercise that Jersey's ever seen. And I think it's been a fantastic example of collaboration, and that's what we set out to do.
I've known this site for over 20 years in my involvement with Jersey Water, and my first dealings with Mourier Valley, it didn't have very many trees at all. And it's just fantastic to see the opportunity presented for the biodiversity of the island, the opportunity to capture carbon in trees, and the opportunity to change the landscape quite dramatically for the better and for the future of our island.
Our aim was always between 4,000 and 6,000. Unfortunately, we're closer to 4,000. There was one area in particular that we weren't able to plant. We think there's potential that potentially could be some archaeology in there. So obviously, as a conservation organisation, we don't want to disturb that archaeology, and it has to be done in the right way.
It's just the beginning, and we're planting the trees, but now we've got to maintain them. But when it's going to be really exciting, I think, is when it's 20, 30 years' time, and you'll have this superb woodland in Mourier Valley, which will extend the existing woodland. Great for species, great for carbon sequestration, great for human well-being. There's just so many pluses through this project.
The work really does start now, because planting to a degree is the easy bit. We now have to maintain this wonderful site that you can see to make sure these trees have the very best chance of survival. Not all of them will take, some of them will not be particularly strong, and will no doubt over the years some thinning will take place to make sure the very strong and the very best species do survive.
It's been 3 years, and if we look around, a lot of these trees are barely coming out the tops of their guards yet, so we're a long way off before we see a woodland here. And while we've been doing this project, I'm trying to sort of limit people's expectations and in terms of how quickly they'll see that happen, because it's at a very exposed location, so they've got quite a long journey to get to before they've kind of established. But as we can see around, there's lots of trees growing here. I've already mentioned there's an established woodland already, so we're kind of adding to that and expanding the amount of woodland cover across the island.
I think the biggest change is obviously the visible change, and that's the tree protection cases, which are there protecting the young saplings as they grow into more mature trees. And once they disappear, then the true beauty of it will arise as the trees mature, and you'll see them in leaf in the summer. And then that will bring its own additional biodiversity around it, the birds using the trees for protection, all of the wildlife that goes with that. It's going to be a fantastic transformation.
The impact has been great. People really care about the community. They really care about this kind of stuff, and they're so keen to get involved. And there's always a long list of people who want to roll their sleeves up and get out and spend half a day or a day coming up and doing tree planting. And we're constantly looking for more sites across Jersey, because we want to replicate this elsewhere.